Everyone, I'm glad you're here because I know that when you're here, that means we're going to talk about family minimalism, and that is literally one of my favorite things to talk about. Once again, it is me and my youngest here hanging out at home, and I wanted to share with you real quick just a little thing that I know makes a difference in terms of my attempts at decluttering with my kids. If we haven't met before, I have 3 kids, a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and my 3-year-old, and we have been working on decluttering their stuff for a long time. And my stuff too, I have to be honest. But anyway, my tip for you is that you don't have to start with big spaces. And we know that about our own stuff. Like, I can't go in and say, oh, I'm going to declutter the garage today. It's going to be my first attempt at minimalism in my garage. No, that'll be overwhelming and that'll be defeating and it won't feel good. But sometimes I think we don't always translate that message from our adult decluttering into our kids decluttering. We have this tendency to say, all right, kids, we're going to clean up your room. All right, kids, we're going to go through this playroom. We're going to go through the basement. And that is all those things. It is disappointing. It's overwhelming. It's frustrating. It's too much. So at the beginning, I suggest when you're working on decluttering with your kids, you start with something really super small. I posted a video a while ago where I talked about why it's important to declutter with your kids. And so I am kind of using that, like I'm assuming that you're there with me. Yes, you got to declutter with your kids because it just gives you so many opportunities that are really good. If you weren't in that conversation already, watch it. I'll try to link it up here or at least in the description box. Anyway, so yes, I wanted to show you real quick some decluttering I did with my middle child, my 7-year-old, just a few days ago. This is a bin that we were using while the kids were doing virtual learning, while their school buildings were closed and everyone was at home. You know, you probably were doing it too. Anyway, so we put together these bins where it kept, had all their school stuff. They are slowly transitioning back into the building and things are still being put in the bin even though we don't need them. And there's just a lot going on in here. It's in the middle of our living room. It's just a lot to look at. And so I knew it was time for us to go through it. This is a very small section of our home, right? It is one bin with one child. But it was worth it, okay? Because that's where sometimes you need to start. It's just small and it just feels good and it makes a difference. So as you can see, we are literally going through every single item in the bin. I am holding things up and asking him, do you want this? Are you ready to let this go? Should this go somewhere else? These are all the kinds of questions I'm asking him. After we go through every single item, then I do go back and ask him some of those things again. Like some of those items he said he wanted to keep, but I really felt like, oh, I'm pretty sure you could get rid of this. Maybe it's, this construction paper that just has like a smiley face or a drawing on it. I don't remember what it was. So I asked him again just to make sure, like, okay, so do you still want to keep this? The key in going through this small space and going through every item in this small space is letting him make the decisions. It is not my decision to make, other than the fact that all of his stuff has to fit in this bin. And if it fits in the bin, then it is up to him. He can choose to keep, whatever piece of paper he wants to keep because they're not my papers, right? In terms of how I'm running my home, though, it just has to fit in this bin. And so at the end of the day, yes, all of his stuff fits in the bin. And the great thing is it just feels successful. I try to keep it lighthearted and fast. I have a tendency to get real serious and just kind of be like a downer. I don't know. I just am like that, okay? But in terms of teaching my kids about minimalism and decluttering and having less, I'm really trying to not do that and to just stop before it gets too serious, stop before it's not fun anymore, and just end on a successful note, and so that we can feel good with the intention of, I'm gonna want to do this again with him and with my daughters and with and with my husband. Like, we're gonna want to do this again, and so I'm gonna need them to feel like this is something they want to do with me. So those are my, it was gonna just be one tip, and that's ended up being a couple of tips. But anyway, I hope that's helpful. Just a little glimpse into how I declutter with my kids, and maybe there's something in there for you. I hope there is. In the meantime, all right, let me know, how is this transition going for you? If you have kids, were you at home a lot and you had all their school stuff at home and now they're starting to go back in, or have they been in this whole time? Like, just let me know, because we are in that transition now, even though the school year is almost over. So pretty soon we're going to be transitioning totally out of school mode. and I'm really ready for that. All right, so take care, and in the meantime, yes, let's plan to meet here again soon so we can continue to talk about family minimalism and decluttering and simplifying and all that really cool stuff. All right, take care. Bye.